So today we are at the world famous Brean Down, where we have lots to talk about today. Not only have we got a Palmerston fort, which is remarkably like half a star fort if you look from the sky down. We have a site of a Roman Mithraic temple, and we also have more mounds. But also something that's very interesting that's on Brean Down, as the same as Mount Sion over there in the distance, and then also the further distance you can just about make out Glastonbury Tor. Now the interesting thing about these are, all three of these hills have what is over here, reservoirs within them, and just behind here is entrances into the down with steel this thick covering up the manholes and the very big locks. Not quite as big as this lock, but pretty big. Anyway, it's an amazing place we're going to explore today, and we'll see what happens. In the distance here you can see the manhole cover. That just shows you how old this is, because these are, I'd say, Victorian. Johnson Brothers, Walsall. This is Bristol Waterworks, and there's some people enjoying this, but also I swear these tunnels, I think they all join up. I haven't been able to prove this yet, but one day I'm hoping one might be left open, but we will find out that in the future. Or the past.
So you can see a bit of natural erosion, it looks like, down here, Phil. You would think that that would be water. Does that mean that at some point this water level would have been a lot higher than it is now?
Well, some say that the water was higher, the water level has been higher, but also that the water level was considerably lower, because at some point we were actually attached to, there was no water between us and Ireland and France, and it was all, I mean, Ice Age times. But I mean, if you look at it, it is in layers, it really is in layers. It's not like something people are just saying.
Yeah.
You can clearly see it's layer upon layer upon layer. And it's quite, it's the way it sits is quite amazing. Now, would you think it would like crumble away, because it's like on a real slant that side.
But the water doesn't come up this high anymore, does it?
No, no way. I mean, I think you can see down there where you've got seaweed and the moss up there. That's about as high as it goes, I think, on a really high tide. But
so do you think over millennia, over time, sea levels would have risen and dropped and risen and dropped?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So when they had, so this is the theory of the Great Cataclysm, when supposedly a meteor hit where Hudson Bay in America is, in Canada, and that was an ice sheet at one point, which was about 3 miles thick, and the impact of the meteor created so much precipitation, it literally created like a massive, a huge water event, and then it just rained and rained and rained, and that's what they say the deluge was. And then the sea levels rose and all stuff like that. But there's many theories upon that. But
do you think similar happened here?
Yeah, it would have done. Yeah, it would have all across the northern hemisphere at least. But then we start going into the territories of Atlantis and also Lemuria. But yeah, that's a big debate, that one. We can't say for sure, but I personally think that Britain, the Bahamas and parts of Florida are the lasting remnants of Atlantis, and there is
Any specific part of Britain? Or
The whole of Britain. The whole of Britain.
Right.
And Ireland. Is the remains. It was actually called Lohassa Atlantis. And yeah, so yeah, there we go.
So we could be standing then on what was, you're saying, Atlantis.
Yeah, part of Atlantis. Yeah, Britain is, and that's why so much stuff here in Britain. But that's another episode entirely. We're going to concentrate on Brean Down because Atlantis is a massive can of worms. There's too much to go into today.
So should we head to the fort?
Yes. Let's go. So here we have another mound, just there, and we're going to go and have a little exploration. And it's basically a Neolithic, another sort of hill fort. They've done excavations. I don't know really what was found, but as usual, probably not a lot. They didn't seem to find anything on these excavations. But let's go and have a look what it's like. So here is the remnants of a Neolithic mound or dwelling. You can imagine it had a little roof on here. We're not 100% sure, but it's like a wall was built round, and in the middle is like a little hearth where you might have had a fire. But yeah, this is one of the mounds. And another interesting fact about Brean Down is that the famous occultist author Dion Fortune wrote a very great book called The Sea Priestess, which is basically, it talks about, the stories about a witch that lived on Brean Down. It's not called Brean Down in the book, but that's what she based it on. So you can imagine she might have lived in something like this. But something to read, and another interesting fact about Brean Down. Now a little bit further along down here was a Roman Mithraic temple. Now Mithras was a Roman god, and very much similar to Jesus himself. And it was virgin birth, born similar sort of time, Christmas time. That's what Christmas is about. It's a pagan festival. They used it at Christmas time. It's called Saturnalia. But yeah, they found a mosaic, and there was a Roman temple on there. So, I mean, people have been. It was actually a pilgrimage place. And this, as you look down across the coast here, this bit of land and the beach had always remained. As you look back, it's like a bowl, and this was, you can actually see it from here. You have lots of irrigation ditches where the land was reclaimed all the way across there. You can see how the banks go along, and it's like a patchwork blanket. All the way back to Glastonbury Tor, this would have been like a sort of swamp or inland sort of lake. And Brean Down was here. That's why it's called the Mount Frogs, or Frog Island, because it was an island, and this would have been an island as well. But you had this bit of sand that was always been here, and people would pilgrimage down to Brean Down. So it was a very sacred place for the pagans, and you know I like the pagans.
And you can see Joseph of Arimathea's landing point just beyond the crest of that curve.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in the distance you should be able to see the lighthouse sticking up. I can't quite see it right now. But basically where the lighthouse is, you can see the church.
See?
That's the church.
The flock of seagulls is shading it.
That's the church there, but the lighthouse, that's pretty much where they landed. So, yeah, it's an ancient pilgrim. An ancient pilgrimage.
So
what? An ancient
pilgrim.
An ancient pilgrim. An ancient pilgrimage site.
And an ancient pillaging site for when the Vikings cometh
Pillaging.
and hurt the people of Burnham with their sticks and sharp things.
Well, funnily enough, Steep Holm and Flat Holm, which you see in the distance, Holm is actually a Viking word which means island.
I thought it meant home.
No, it means island.
Steep island.
Island.
A flat island.
Island. Land.
And when I was 7 years old in my primary school, I thought island was Island, and I told all the kids in my class, right, this is Island.
Yeah.
And when the teacher said, what does this word say? Island. No, you're all wrong.
And I thought a yacht.
Absolutely gutted.
I thought yacht was yatchet.
Yuck.
Yatchet. Like a bit like Hickabridger or otherwise Highbridge.
Shall I tell people what it's about?
Yeah.
This is a pillbox sandwich. 2 British soldiers lost their lives in this. The top and the bottom came together and sandwiched them. They couldn't be rescued because it's too heavy. So they're still in there. Their bones are still in there somewhere. God rest their souls.
Why do they call it a pillbox?
Because it resembles a Victorian pillbox where ladies would have kept their pills, contraceptive pills, in the Freedom of Women Act, 1865, so that they didn't have to have babies if they didn't want them. That's what it resembled, the box.
And it's collapsed like the moral fibre of this country.
Indeed. It's going the same way, isn't it? Down! Damn your eyes!
Have you been to this fort before, Scott?
You thought you had?
The fort? I thought we were going to forts. Like the ice cream folk?
Yeah.
The forts are on the end, you said.
Yeah.
We could go forts.
Yeah, you can have a cup of coffee and a nice ice cream, vanilla sundae, knickerbocker glory, knickerbocker glory.
And have you been to the fort before, Scott?
I haven't, no. Well, is it good?
Don't know.
You have.
Have I?
Have you not been up here before?
You have. How long have you been alive?
I think I came up in 2007 with my beautiful fiancée, Hannah.
Is that
And
the
we
same
took
one
to-
you've got now?
She's still with me. I don't know why. She cares for me. That is amazing.
So Romans would have walked here and seen these, wouldn't they? Would that have been...
This is the remnants of Roman food from the Etruscan Alpine Mountains.
But Romans never looked down.
I
That's
didn't
why they
know.
had the metal helmets on to keep their heads up. They never saw a mushroom.
And they say that now, never look back.
They say these type of fungi only grow on the site where Romans died. In the process of their lead works all along the Mendips. This is the end of the Mendips, we call it the end dips.
Yeah.
And this is where this is where the lead got shipped out across yonder and went all the way down through the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Down through the Mediterranean Sea. That's
Down.
interesting.
Well, it's down, looking on a globe as it is now,
Yeah.
the map from the British Isles, you go down and then you turn right
Second
after
left.
Spain,
Yeah.
go along, second left
Yeah.
at the boot.
And they would take these mushrooms back? Is that what we're saying?
This was, yes. Well, they brought them here. It's like when the Normans brought rabbits here that populated the land of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
They brought these type of fungus. I don't even know what they're called, but they're definitely rare. Really? There's more. Let's have a look. Oh my God.
Rob, can you just explain to the viewers what you're doing?
Just it's basically strimming without a blade.
Right.
If there's metal in the ground, I'm going in.
And is this a form of mine sweeping? I know Scott mentioned mine sweeping. And
Yeah, well, it's better safe than sorry, isn't it? Because one of my mates came up and got his legs blew off.
by a mine?
Blown off, blew off.
Blew off. By the wind?
Yeah.
No, we did a powerful fire. Oh, that's a bit crude,
Yeah,
isn't it?
you know, you never know. If there's a mine up here, then we don't want to discover it with our feet, do we?
Would
Yeah.
the Romans have left mines in the wake of their
Probably.
invasion?
They're like little spring-loaded stones, basically. So you
IEDs.
get like pebbles up your nostrils.
IEDs.
Yeah.
I don't know what it stands for.
Intellectual evidenced diagrams.
It's idiots expecting distress. The generals up there.
Whoa, bad thing.
Oh, careful, there's a pimple there. Could be one of those top of a mine.
So in the background we've got Brean Down Fort, which is a Palmerston fort, and originally it was built for the Napoleonic War because they were worried about Napoleon's navy coming up the Holy Grail estuary and invading. I think it was used in the First and the Second World War, as again for the same sort of thing, but for the Germans and Hitler's naval.
Kriegsmarine.
Kriegsmarine.
Weren't the Romans here as well?
Well, they weren't in that fort, but the Romans were on Brean Down, yeah.
Yeah, they were, because in case Asterix the Gaul came up and Obelix come up in his big boat.
But yeah, we're going to have a little exploration. It might be open today, but I do know of a little spot we're going to go and have a look at. Not many people have seen.
Here we are on the fort at Brean Down, and this is the origin of the Gunpowder magazine, which had a very short-lived print run. Only 2 copies were printed. Not very interesting. Down the steps there. Can you get down there?
No, I suppose not.
Oh. Still hear the printing presses going. On episode on the magazine 3. Go down.
How many printing presses would have been down here, Scott, originally?
Only the one. It was intended for worldwide publication, but after the poor sales, they knocked it on the head and made the machine into part of the gunnery, which is a nunnery for guys. Convent. Very dark in here. It's reputed to be haunted. And when it gets dark, you don't want to be down here because you might get dragged through the bars. Pretty painful. Happened to a friend of mine. Never saw him again. Happy Halloween! No!
Winky, winky, woo, winky, winky, why? Stinker, pinker, poo, gets into your eye. Take my breath away, out, and dinner's up, Tibby! Winky, winky, mine. In my hot air balloon, I go high, high. A strawberry macaroon in the sky. Up above the clouds, how I would talk to the angels, and that's not allowed.
And here we are in the old barracks of the fort, and as it's near to Halloween, this chimney would have been used, they would have baked a pie and put an offering of a pie here to quell the evil spirits of the fort. So it'd be nice to see one now, but it's obviously you have to go and buy one from a shop.
So, this was Brean Down, this was the Palmerston Fort, that was Rob. We've had ravens again, drop me bits, and a ghost pie. Thanks for watching the Pathfinders. See you next time.